I'll intro with my low energy.
Why you got low energy?
Prep energy. Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We are gathered today to film another episode. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Grant. Hey, Kyle.
Hello, Anthony.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just realized I had a call in 2 minutes. I need to move, but that's okay.
What type of call? Is it a client call?
Yeah.
No.
I figured we would do the podcast yesterday, but that's okay.
We told you. We literally agreed upon Friday.
I know, but I already scheduled it 2 days before that. I didn't realize.
Oh.
It's no big deal.
All right.
Aside from that, what is new in your life? You're in prep. Another week down.
Yeah, another week down. Tomorrow marks 6 weeks out. So, I mean, it's nothing like I'm doing anything crazy, anything new or exciting. But it's a matter of fact of just taking everything day by day and, checking off my checklist, making sure I'm getting my shit done. So what's kind of new was, to start off, since the last podcast, I did my first ever, one-on-one posing coach with a posing coach.
Right.
I've never done that before. Always been like self-taught or my own improvements or like throughout too.
Yeah. Here and there.
But
Someone that specifically.
yes, has an expertise in that. Did a session, it was 30 minutes. It's kind of hard to imagine you can get a lot done in 30 minutes. So we went over with what I already knew and pretty much said I'm, over 90% of the way there with pretty much everything. There's just little tweaks we could do to everything.
Yeah.
So I think went over the front relaxed, rear relaxed, and a quarter turn. I was able to get my front relaxed down. I sent you a check-in this morning, and I actually sent my second video, made a critique. Were you able to see what the critique was?
No, honestly. I just saw your arm started up on the second one.
So, that was one of the cues
The first one, because the first video was blurry, remember?
The first cue he told me for front relax was to start high and then let your arms just fall into your lats. So I compared how I bring it from down to up, and there's not much of a difference, but the one difference I never did in a front relax was sticking my chest out. I never did that. I would just flare my lats and stand tall. I never went like this. So that actually made a big difference because it makes your upper half look bigger because you're pushing closer towards the screen or the judges. But it was a productive posing session. If you guys are curious, his name's Daniel Coffin, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm trying to pronounce his last name. Coffin, I believe. And I found out he actually competed at Universe when me, James, and Vaughn did.
Did he?
James beat him.
Small world.
Yeah. Because he said it. I was like, he's asking me what I do for a living. I was like, oh, social media. I've been in this for like a hot minute. Yeah. And stuff like that. Gave him a little bit of my friends. And he's like, oh, James, that's the guy that fucking beat me.
What did he place at that show?
6.
Okay.
He got 6.
It's a good class.
Yeah, it was. So that was pretty cool for me to get that posing session down. I'm definitely going to be doing it every week leading up to the show, the first show. And it was cool too because like something I want to do different than last shows is be able to look like I know how to pose. Right. I know how to hit the mandatories to a degree pretty well compared to the other amateurs in the league, but I want to be able to show like, all right, that guy's a pro-worthy poser.
Yeah. Which
I can now do posing sessions with him for my routine. Found out. So I have my song picked out. I have an idea of the choreograph poses I want to do to the song. Choreography.
It's all right.
Now it's just matter of fact of practicing it. Because, like, I don't know, I'm a guy, you're a guy. I don't really dance.
No, but I think there's a substantial difference between the people that take the time to prepare. Like, I always think, like, Terrence Ruffin or something. Yeah. Like, you look forward to it almost, right? So exactly. I think that definitely adds a element to someone's game. But, yeah, if you can practice early and
I want to practice now because you don't want to practice the last, like, 3 weeks of prep.
No,
you're drained already.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you can condition yourself now, have it already locked down, and then you can just like ease the practice closer to show.
You don't want to be a robot on stage.
No. So that was Monday. Tuesday you hit me with a surprise attack of no high day. So
yeah,
thanks for that.
Sure did.
It was all right.
Were you upset?
No, because
good answer.
The high days you give me, they're kind of just like it's nothing much.
No, so fuck them. We don't need them then.
Yeah, fuck them, dude.
Yeah, all right.
So I survived that, and then hung out with some friends, and worked out with Nick Walker yesterday.
How was that?
It was good. I mean, last time I worked out with Nick was a little bit over 2 years ago, right? Like 2 years, a couple months. Yeah, we trained. It was actually on my YouTube channel. It was like it was a chest day too. But we trained chest yesterday. We trained at the gym near him, Performance Strength Academy, which is a cool spot. There wasn't many people in there, so we.
That's a new one, right?
Yeah, Glassboro. Sam Sulik went there.
Who?
Sam.
Never heard.
Okay.
No, I know he went there. It's a quiet gym, apparently, right?
Yeah, it's quiet.
Very cool.
Not many people there. Yeah, that was one controversial thing that Nick didn't like. He's in the wall of pros, Sam.
That's weird.
Yeah. Anyways, though, it was a good, very good workout with Nick. He's been super nice to me, like rooting me on throughout this whole prep. And he's locked in for his prep for the New York Pro. So we trained chest, and I just wanted to be like a student, just like following his lead, because sometimes it's different. Like when you collaborate with people, right? I didn't view it as like when I was younger and I would collab with people, it'd be for content. And when you work out, it's like hype. It's like just make it look good for the camera. Like try to get a pump, whatever it is, look as big as you can, push the heaviest weight, most amount of reps, just as manic as you can.
Right.
But training with Nick, number one, like I know who Nick is. He's a bodybuilder, and he's placed third at the Olympia last year, not this past one, but the year before that, right? So top 3 in the world. It's kind of cool because like when I watch videos of like someone like Kevin Levrone and stuff, right? This is like modern day top bodybuilder in the world. Let me ask as many questions as I can and just absorb as much information. So that's what I did yesterday. I took a sit back. My grammar sucks, bro. I took the back seat. I watched him, and he helped guide me. He's a very good teacher, and had a really good workout. So it was good. Yeah, he almost broke the fuck out of my shoulder, though.
Why?
So we were doing, I told you, I'd never done like incline dumbbell press in a hot minute.
Yeah. You just plopped it on there?
No. Oh. So we're doing it, right? And he's pushing me to failure. And like, it's not like pumping you, it's like grinding you out for that last rep. And he's like, control it. And I'm controlling as hard as I can, the weight down. And like, now I'm shaking a little bit. And then my shoulder goes like this. And I, with my body weight, I like kind of just like curved it back and threw it forward.
Another 5 years and you would tore something.
I don't know, man. If I keep on my mobility work, maybe I never will. That's the goal. So.
Yeah,
that was the workout.
It's a little scary. That's okay.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, I would have felt real bad. I was like, yeah. I was like, I probably would too, It would have been traumatic.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
But it didn't hurt at all. Like, even like just as far back as it went, like, I didn't feel any impingement. And even like throughout
Why'd that happen, though? You didn't control the weight?
I was fatigued past failure. The set was done. Yeah, he told me to hold it, and I'm like trying. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, you were just too fatigued. That's the hard part. Is kind of, I guess, when you work out with somebody sometimes.
Yes, exactly. You can't. They want to push you, but
yeah,
you
tough.
know your limits. So yeah, it was a good workout. Then we posed a little bit after. He saw my physique, said it looked good. So I'm flat, but
you're fat. So flat and fat are 2 different things.
Yeah, he said it looked good. He's rooting for me. He said some nice words to the camera, and
nice.
Yeah, that was a session.
But you enjoyed it, though.
Of course,
Picked up some tips and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely want to hit other body parts with him. Our splits just don't line up very nicely right now, and I doubt he wants to change his shit up. And I'm kind of close to a show, so I can't really do that either.
It's tough. I mean,
so it'll probably be like post New York Pro, get some more sessions in with him, where the days I can like do back with him or legs.
Yeah, move some things around. But yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And always, I don't want to say be humbled, but to be able to take the back seat and kind of learn from someone that obviously he's a byproduct of proper form, intensity. He's been doing it for a while. He's super consistent. So, yeah, no, I'm glad you had that opportunity. It's good. Nick is very good at what he does. So,
what about you? What's up with you?
Not too much, man. Finishing this house process, and then
did you finally find the one?
I believe I found the one. Yes. So we shall see in hopefully another week, as I mentioned last episode. That'll be. Yeah, I have a lot more free time because I haven't looked at any other places and stuff.
Okay.
I used to do that all weekend, so like other than going to the gym and family things, it was just looking at going to different open houses or scheduling viewings, and not having to do that's a little odd at first. So it's almost like it being in a prep and no longer in a prep. It's like your schedule is more open, obligations. So yeah, that's the main thing. But what about you as far as your living situation?
Well, I put 6 months into my apartment.
That takes you through what, August?
August.
Okay.
And then post show is where we'll kind of figure out where the fuck to go. I have ideas, but
What are your ideas?
Tampa or stay here? I don't know.
Big difference, man.
The big difference.
You have Jersey, Tampa.
I see that.
No pun intended. On Tampa's just slower. It's like in Florida. It's south.
Closer to the border, closer to the equator.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go south from Jersey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the place, figure it out. I mean, the place I stay at, it's expensive, like hella expensive, bro. And it's brand new, 2 years old.
And you
I'm
have
the first person to live there. So many issues, dude. My HVAC thing broke twice. The sink had a hole in it, leaked everywhere. And it's like, what's going on? Like, so
you gotta look to either get out, do something different. Whether you, like I said, I'm biased with where I would want you to stay or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's gonna make you happy, and it's an experience. You know, I think people in your shoes, like I said, you didn't go away to college, so your college experience is living in different places, perhaps. And you had California for a bit, you had Florida for a little bit.
Yeah, tiny bit.
So, yeah, I don't know. You know what you get here, so I feel a lot of people that move down to those warmer climates, sometimes it's too warm in the summer and things like that, so they kind of wish they were back here. But in the winter here, luckily we've been blessed the last couple, I feel like the last 2 or 3 years, really, we haven't gotten terrible winters, but 10 years ago used to be pretty awful to a degree for some people. But
Used to be a lot of snow. When there used to, it was cool when there used to snow a lot. Like, we're talking about like a foot or two. That was cool as shit. Yeah, you couldn't go.
I feel like as you get older, it's not as cool.
Yes, I was younger.
Right.
We just had the big
just imagine it's snowing now and you're in prep.
I know.
And now you can't get
trekking to the
obviously
gym.
the gym. This gym's always open, but
Yeah.
you know.
We trekked in the snow. This.
Pretty boy influencers out in California just staying thinking they're hot shit.
Yeah. So.
That's cool though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
A lot of exciting things, perhaps new chapters you're embarking on.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, regardless if you stay here, I'm sure maybe you'll get a house or something, right? So you'll move out of where you are.
Out of sorry.
1330.
2 minutes apart. That's so fun.
So either get a new house or you move out of where you are at least.
Yeah, something like that.
chapter.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Figure it out. But yeah, I mean, obviously the one main task at hand is just focusing on prep. The first goal is that, and then go from there.
How is your significant other doing with prep? You guys are in prep, so how's it been?
Good. She's much happier this week, seeing her weight drop. She looks killer. She had a video. She probably sent it to you. Mm-hmm. She looked really good. She got emotional. She looked really good. So she's been happy. She's been killing it. We've been good relationship-wise. No complaints, We help each other a lot. So it's been good.
No, that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think last week you're saying she was, I don't want to say unhappy, but a little stressed, right?
For sure, yeah.
Typical
Girl
body dysmorphia sometimes settles in.
Yeah. But I'm excited for her, honestly, more than me to a degree, because, I mean, I got to witness Allie start as just a gym girl I had a crush on, right? And then, not saying I took her under my wing, but the influence I had in bodybuilding to her helped her, become a better bodybuilder. And she looks killer right now, and I can foresee her going pro this year. So I'm just excited to see it happen. Yeah. Do you think she can go pro? Kind of like a weird put you on the spot question.
I think she has all the intangibles to turn pro in the bikini division for sure. She fits the division well. She is passionate about it, and that is exemplified in her posing. Whereas again, sometimes people have fantastic physiques, but because they don't practice posing, or especially for girls, if they can't walk in heels, I can't say I've ever tried to walk in heels. Hopefully you haven't either. But it's challenging, I think. So yeah, it's tough. You border that. Girly girls walk in heels often, and then girls that are just athletic maybe don't. Yeah. So it's kind of like figuring out how to balance both. But she's been practicing. She's passionate about it.
Presses a lot, bro. Post workout, I want to leave and eat. She's like, can you film me? I'm like, of course, honey.
But that's what'll show on stage, Whereas someone else that might have a comparable physique they don't have the flow or swagger.
Yep. Swagger.
You like that word?
Her walk came a lot. She used to be a little awkward with it. Now she looks swift to me.
Stiff.
Swift.
Stiff, probably, in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Stiffer.
Yeah. Yes, stiffer. Yeah. Awkward was a great word I just used as well.
That works, okay.
Yeah. you want to go into the people's stuff?
We can. Grant, do you have anything for us today? So as we mentioned last episode, we were going to try to get back into getting through those physique assessments, I guess we can call them, and miscellaneous questions. So we have a good amount, so we'll try to allocate proper time to each one and then go from there.
Okay. So question he asked first. First person up here, we have a 25 years old sitting at 225 looking for some physique critiques and areas I could work on. He's been self-coached for 4 to 5 years, haven't had the extra income to afford a coach. Family first, father of 2. Love the bodybuilding lifestyle, competed once in 2022, won my class and 3rd overall. Have watched Kyle since Nick Walker and his training days on the Jansen app. Keep up the great work, guys.
Well done.
I mean, this guy is a bodybuilder for sure. He's a man. Nope, not him. Okay. I'll let Coach go first. Dalton.
So I presume bodybuilding is a division for him. Did he say? I know he got 3rd in his last show, but I presume it was...
Yeah, he didn't say...
I presume it's open
bodybuilding.
That's what I'm going to go with. 225, 25 years old. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
As far as his physique, can you go to his front picture, please? I would say looking at him right away, upper body needs to come up a little bit for sure. Specifically, I'd say like his chest. I think his arms are in line with where his body is. Go to that back double. I think his back's decent. Not bad at all. He just needs to continue to put on muscle, but it looks like, I don't see his legs, so I can't comment on that, which is, for most people, the most struggling area.
Really, I would say,
Yeah.
I feel like his chest looks like the biggest upper body part he has. It looks very full.
His upper chest, though, is very... I don't think it's a tattoo. I think it's just... He doesn't have as much there.
Okay.
And then in his back pose, I didn't really check his shoulders, but...
I would say he needs more rear delts.
Rear delt, exactly. That'll make that pose look better. But I think his arms are in line. He just needs to put on some more size, so...
Overall size, you would say?
Yeah, that's a pretty good package for someone that's 25, father of 2.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Dalton, for joining in on that one. Hope we helped. Is this number 2, Grant?
Yeah.
All right, number 2. Love the podcast. He's going to compete in an OCB show 2025, taking a proper lean bulk right now, 18, 5'3". I know I need to bring my chest up, but is there anything else you all think I should focus on despite putting on more size? Go. Coach, go ahead. Go ahead first.
I think for an 18-year-old, he's 5'3",
said
so
he's
he's
18?
shorter.
Yeah.
He's 18, 5'3", so he's on the shorter side. So when you're shorter in bodybuilding, you can kind of have less muscle, but it looks bigger just because you have less room area to kind of put on. I think he just needs to continue to grow and be patient.
Put on size
really.
in general, yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine in his legs. I don't really see hamstrings here in these poses, but I think aesthetically he's got a pretty good shape.
I think he has nice structure, nice shape. He knows how to pose.
It's going to be, even for someone like that, you could just tell he's a little bit leaner upper body, but he holds a lot of fat in his legs.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the muscle there as you're dieting, that's going to get really small. So I would just focus on really trying to bring that lower body up because his upper body's definitely ahead.
Yeah, I would say just overall patience, size, man. 18, I can't imagine me lifting for more than 4 years at this point, and we'll say how many of those years were efficient training, No. So just patience and time and bringing up all the body parts again. All right. Currently in prep for his 3rd show. Any advice on how to deal with the mental side of prep when food gets low? These pics are from last prep when I was 17. Is this them, Grant?
So what do you think about his physique?
Said 17.
What stands out to you about that?
This?
About his...
I would say this area right here, the shoulder, the arm, tricep, I'd say this.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I think his arms look pretty good for his age.
Yeah, for 17.
I think more so at 17 doing 3 shows is kind of much.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to do that many shows. It's pretty much, what the answer is. It's usually, hey, you need to put on size because no one 17 has professional size.
Yep.
But I don't know. I presume perhaps he wants to go to Classic based on that pose. I wouldn't imagine he's 17 and doing open, so I would say that's not in it. But it doesn't look like he's doing men's physique either. So as far as answering the question, the mental side of prep when food gets low, why don't you go first since you're in prep and food is decreasing?
Honestly, man, it's about doing what you have to do to get prep done in terms of your cardio, your meals, and then having things to fill in that time in between. So, for example, right now, man, like I've been playing some video games and it's been keeping me occupied. And if you're a video game player, you know time goes by fast in a couple matches. So it keeps me occupied. I'm not worrying about my stomach growling. I'm not thinking about my next meal. I'm like, oh shit, it's already time to eat. Let me eat. And then I play video games until I'm like, oh fuck, it's time to go to bed. And then the day's over. Now you got another day down. So that's what I'm doing. I keep myself occupied by not just thinking about the show, but doing everything I have to do for the show. Just keep my mind off it.
Yeah, no, I think staying busy and having something to do with your time definitely makes it easier to handle lower food. At the end of the day, it kind of comes with the territory as you're dieting. No one can really diet on a ton of food.
No.
Rarely, maybe one out of every 500 people. So it just kind of goes back to your why and you're doing it in the first place.
For sure. Hey,
Right.
Kyle
Yeah.
and Anthony. We have a 15-year-old here who wants to know what do you think of the physique and what I could do to improve. Here's some photos from 14 and 15. All right. I mean,
You're 14 or 15.
14,
man.
15, it's not about
The fact that you're even hitting a pose right now is crazy.
Yeah.
I'd say 95% of people don't even lift weights until they're 16. So you're way ahead of schedule. So you just need to be patient. A lot of people try to rush, to say the least. I presume and I hope to God you're natural. Just keep it that way for quite some time and enjoy life along the way. Play sports in school. Do your thing.
My best tips to you at an age like that, to anyone, would be getting meals in is important. It's not just calories. It's kind of like 6 meals a day every 2.5 hours, I would say. Kind of sucky. But if I could go back to when I was younger, that's what I would, with the knowledge I have now, that's what I would have done.
You would have eaten 6 meals?
Yeah, bro. It's like no one wants to do it, but like it's way better than having a mass gainer shake and shit like that. I would not be doing that again.
Yeah, but at the same time, I see, I guess, where I differ at that age, maybe you have an idea of, like, your macros for the day and stuff, but, like, be a kid.
For sure. You can
know?
be a kid. I'm just saying, if it's someone like, most of these, okay, you gotta think about it. Most bodybuilding kids aren't normal kids. To a degree. They go to the gym, but they want to pursue this, and they want to become a me, or they want to become a you, or whoever it is, a guy that's competitive in bodybuilding, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So if I'm giving this advice, that's what I would tell them, is to get those meals in, because that's what we're doing, and I bet if you do it at your age,
Focus on nutrition, but just be patient.
for sure, have fun, be a kid, and go out to your parties, but bring your meal. That's my tip. All right. Hello. What? Just a question here. For the last year, I've been following Renaissance periodization, principles of training, and seeing good results. I've been following Ant's journey since 2019 when Derek made a video about him and the supplements he was taking. That was on you. So I was wondering what you guys think about RP and what you agree and disagree. Keep it up, boys. Good work. Cheers from Netherlands.
I remember that video.
Guess
What happened?
go ahead.
Oh, I think we're in the way.
I don't know. Go ahead.
You remember that video?
I remember it. Of course I do.
Okay. So as far as Renaissance periodization, you're familiar with it?
Not really. No.
Okay.
It's Mike something. Israel's.
And Jared. Right?
Yeah.
So they have this app that pretty much takes a lot of the thinking out of it, and it's science-based coupled with, their anecdotal experiences as well. So I think it gives people direction and guidance, which I think a lot of people lack because they just go in nowadays. I saw Anthony do this. I saw Nick do this. I saw James do this, whoever you want to name. So I think it's cool to have something to go off of. It's interactive to where you're not just reading, hey, do 4 sets of 10. It's you input your weight. So I think it's cool sometimes to that degree. I think also built in the app is like training videos in terms of like the exercise, how to perform it. I know they're really big on full range of motion. I think very, very recently, they're breaking the range of motion down a tad. It's like an active range of motion on certain exercises, but they continue to advance, so I can't really say there's anything negative about it. I don't know the user-friendliness of it. Like, I don't have any personal experience using it, other than I have a couple of clients that use it here and there. But I think ultimately, anything that gives you... It gives you way more guidance and direction than a lot of other things out there. So I think that's awesome. And again, I think the most challenging thing is like when I give someone a workout program, I can't give them something that's like that specific where it's changing every week, because usually most people don't follow shit anyway, right? So what if you're sick this week? What do you do? At least with the app, I think you can kind of mess with it a bit and have different meso blocks. So seems productive.
Yeah, I mean, it seems cool. I know yesterday Nick Walker was talking about how he took some information from Jared Feather which I didn't know was a part of that. So,
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm still building my base physique. Do not have any body parts that I would consider elite, bigger than the others. Rather, all my parts are lagging. How do I create an effective workout so that it gives proper time and attention to every body part while also allowing adequate recovery? I prefer to train in the same days every week. All right, so I'm going to leave that question for you. So, overall, how do I create an effective workout split that gives proper time and attention to every body part while also allowing for adequate recovery?
Sounds like an RP question.
So what I think is important is defining what adequate recovery is, right? Is this person enhanced or not enhanced?
Okay.
Based on that, how effective they are at training the body part.
Yeah.
You could do chest every single day. If you don't hit it good, you don't got to. It doesn't matter about recovery because you're just not connecting with it, right? So, I think that's where just 4 to 5 days a week is perfectly okay, or even like a push pull legs and like an arm day. Those kind of principles work. I think it comes down to more of what exercises you're choosing, how consistent you are with those exercises, and then not getting caught up with chasing numbers. Should you progress over time? Yes, but again, progressive overload isn't just seeing the numbers go up. It's maybe you can progressive overload by having more volume. You can progressive overload by getting stronger, more reps. They're all different methods. So I think an effective workout plan, you don't want to get bored either, right? So think of how many times you followed a plan, and there's always that time and place where you get kind of bored, tired. It's like, oh, I'm tired of doing the same exercises.
Yeah.
So I think maybe designing things in 8-week blocks to where, okay, maybe these 8 weeks I'm going to focus on, he or she doesn't have any superior body parts. So maybe for the next 8 weeks, I'm going to focus on bringing my chest and shoulders up. So I'm going to hit them 3 times a week. After those 8 weeks, I'm going to give that a break. I'm going to hit back 3 times a week, or my legs 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Building it that way, I think it keeps it fun and also gives things a chance to kind of pull down. Because a lot of people, I think, get caught up with, let's just say you're trying to build everything.
Yeah.
More is not necessarily better. So just because you train chest twice a week now doesn't necessarily mean it's better, because then you factor in all those other variables, as I mentioned, the recovery, supplementation, nutrition. Is your body feeling beat up? Stuff like that.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, I was going to try to answer the question how he wanted it to. I think he wants basically to write a workout split of an equal growth, which it's hard. It's hard. It's like, it's kind of hard to do. Like you could say push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs, rest, and it'd be an 8 days. Oh, he has to do everything in the same week. Okay.
Yeah, I think the more I get into too much training, changing frequency, assuming, again, execution is where it needs to be, having higher volume for a certain period of time on a certain body part might be helpful, and then changing that up. Because you can't just do more and more and more.
Okay. This person has met us before. I met all 3 of you guys and Dave in the summer of 2021 at Ant's National Show in Charleston. I'm very excited to hear you'll be back in Charleston this summer. These pictures of me were in December 2021 during wrestling season. This is by far the leanest I've ever been. And do you think if I wanted to pursue bodybuilding, would I be successful if I added more size in these photos? I was 17, 5'4", 126 during my last season of wrestling. Ever since then, I have pretty much gotten a lot fatter, but I think if I wanted to, I could get this lean and maybe even more lean if I decided to compete. All right. Is this yep.
Photos right there. Should be all 3.
I mean, listen, for 126 pounds, right, it's obviously small. It's not a lot of weight, but he's also a shorter person. But it looks pretty, right?
He's 17?
Yeah, but he's not even a bodybuilder. He's a wrestler, dude.
Well, for someone that's not bodybuilding look like that is fucking crazy.
That's good, bro. That's awesome. Great genetics, I would say, overall. Because, like, I'm sure you lift in the gym. You got some muscle to you. But your main thing right now is wrestling. I mean, I would say, yes, you have potential in this sport for sure. You just got to keep adding on size. And I think your structure looks pretty good. So,
I think
the game.
I feel like a lot of people ask that question, like, oh, can I get into... Anybody can get into bodybuilding.
You could,
anyone.
Yeah.
How far you go, you got to put some time in. You know, put 5 or 6 years in. If you still look like shit after 6 years, I'd say maybe this isn't for you.
Depends within you. Look at yellow hamstring, little glute action.
Kid or
same kid. Yeah.
No, it's a different kid.
No, same kid.
Oh, you just say that one out. Oh. He's got like glute lines. This kid looks crazy.
Not bad. Yeah, man. Excited to see you this.
He looked better than you.
Excited to see you again this summer at in May in Charleston. Oh, he has more footage.
For not even trying, that's pretty good. For just wrestling,
Shit,
not
a
even
little-
trying to compete.
Like he said, like he's 126. He probably had to cut. Like the reason why it's 126 is because he had to cut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's for 17. That's impressive.
Sir Kyle, how do you manage coaching multiple high-level bodybuilders and traveling to be with your athletes in person? Do you sometimes have to pick the needs for one over another?
Hell yeah, pick and choose who I want to. No, I'm kidding. How do I manage it? I think it's the most challenging thing possible, especially when I have people that are. I think the most challenging time. I guess I go back to Universe. I think I had like 9 people on that show, and it was all like megastar social media people. So I didn't want to really fuck that up because that would look bad. Luckily, I did pretty well, I guess. As far as there's a time and a place. So sometimes when I'm planning out what shows people are doing, I'm keeping in mind where I can be. And is that person a person that is going to be okay on their own? Some people, when I work with them, I don't need to like baby them. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for other people, I know they're going to freak out and stress if I'm not with them in person.
Makes sense.
So, yeah,
just
I think just developing a relationship, again, starts to help. Do I think you could succeed without me near you? Yes. Do I think 3 years ago? Maybe, maybe not. Things could change over time. But I'm more confident now that it doesn't matter. The results that you have aren't because I'm next to you versus across the country. The results you have are because you're consistent, you give the proper feedback, and you do. At the end of the day, I can only tell you what to do. Like, I lay the blueprint, but you're the worker, and you've realized that and bought into it.
All right, next person. 17 years old, bulking right now. In the mornings, weighing 195, 18% body fat. They assume, should I keep gaining fat or maintain until springtime when I'll cut? He wants to keep building on muscle, but doesn't want to overbulk. So that's a pretty proper question to have for a, what do you say, 17, 18-year-old? Let's check him out.
So I think this is a common theme for many people. And again, you're young. So I look at these pictures. I don't think the question should be, should you keep gaining fat? I think the question should be, do I want to intend on putting on muscle versus cutting my calories down?
Yeah.
Because if you're gaining fat at a higher rate, then your food is too high to begin with. I don't think looking at those pictures, there's nothing wrong with continuing. Now, if over 25% body fat, like I used to get to, I think that's like teetering a little bit overboard. But yeah, I mean, you're more of like a fat kid like me. I don't think we don't. You're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to stay as lean as you might be able to and grow. It's just not our body type. So, you know, when you diet down a little bit and then you start to reverse.
Just gain your insulin sensitivity back, your food sensitivity in the body will immediately just be like, oh,
You start getting like symptoms of you being tired of eating or
it just goes straight.
motivation's down, all of these things. But I don't look at his picture and think that he's too fat by any means. And I don't look at his picture and say, wow, you have so much muscle, you should cut down.
Did he put his height or no?
No.
It looks like he has a lankier frame, so if you can get away with pushing harder.
He just needs to continue to grow. And then that way, when you do go to really cut down, you have something to really show for it versus, oh, I'm kind of skinny. That's the reality. What do you think?
No, I mean, I definitely think what you could possibly do in your situation is clean up your diet. I don't know what you're eating, but let's say if you were bulking and you thought you're eating some pretty shitty foods, if you cut that away, I'm sure you're going to get a little bit better response in your body. Maybe cut down a little bit where you see some better, maybe more veins, maybe more definition, but you can still pack on your size.
Yep.
Hello, friends. Just wanted to say I love the podcast. I've been following every episode since the start. You guys have both inspired me over the past year, even before the podcast, and have helped me along the journey to losing 150 pounds in 16 months. After 16 months of being in a deficit and finally going to my first surplus slowly, and wanted to know what you guys think of the end physique before I put the fat back on. If you have any tips of things I should work on, you guys. Thank you guys immensely. Okay, here we go. Wow.
That's a really impressive transformation.
I always love the fat to fit transformations.
It hits home for me.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool because, like, it's the opposite. I was skinny to fit, and then fat to fit to me, I haven't been on that journey, but I can imagine it being harder because being in the gym when you're fat, I'm sure it's not a fun thing to do your first time stepping in the gym.
No, and I think once you get a taste of being leaner, you don't got to be stage lean. That's significantly leaner than he was.
For sure. Huge accomplishment.
Once you see that and then you start to put some fat on, your self-confidence can go back down the drain.
Yep.
So again, just the way the question is worded, you don't have to start to think you're going to put on fat. The goal isn't to put on fat. The goal is to put on muscle. So slowly taper your calories up and go from there. If you're gaining 2 pounds a week or something crazy, that's entirely too much. You're going to get fat.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, I feel like where you're at, regardless of your transformation, right, from fat to fit, I would say you could definitely be in a slight surplus and
Yes.
start packing on some good quality tissue.
Yeah, the next steps he would go back to his maintenance calories, hang out there for a little bit, and then slowly start to increase calories. But it's not a weekly thing that you do. It could be every 3-4 weeks even, you know? Be patient.
Congratulations, Eric. Kyle, assuming someone is sleeping, hydrating, and eating properly, how would you fix/speed up their recovery process? That way they can hit another hard training session sooner without changing the volume and load.
I'm trying to think of how to even answer this.
Yeah.
So, sleeping, hydrating, and eating properly.
So basically what I'm getting at is, right, for recovery, you think about diet, hydrate, and sleep, right? So those are all on the check mark. What extra things could you be doing to train sooner? I guess it would be...
Those are the main things.
Those are the main things. I mean, there's some extra things, but like it's not really going to help like speed up recovery to be able to necessarily be able to hit that body part sooner.
The only thing, the obvious answer is drugs. That will speed up recovery, right? But at this point, that's not the solution here. If you're doing all those things, patience.
Keep nailing it.
You can only recover so fast, and if you try to go in earlier, you're going to start to see diminishing returns. So you don't want to have the right stimulus and then not do the things outside the gym. If he's doing all those things correctly, and you're continually seeing progress over time, be happy with it. You don't necessarily, and he mentioned not changing the frequency or the load, so
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything else aside from pulling back on other body parts, so your body's only focused on certain areas.
Cool. Yeah. Now here's a question for me. How would you help someone with poor digestion, gut bloating? Assuming the diet is already very clean and structured meal timings. Honestly, I feel like it's still a question for Kyle. Kyle's way more knowledgeable.
This is Anthony, man. You gotta answer, buddy.
I know. I will answer though.
Okay.
What I will say is what I've noticed with my digestion, gut, and bloating doesn't necessarily come from the food. I mean, yes, food sources, but it's the quantity of food. When I'm pushing food, I'm going to have issues. I have issues when it comes to number 2, gas and bloating throughout the day. Right now, with where I'm at in prep, obviously my food's much lower. And I could tell you, number 2 is great, perfect. There ain't no gas and there ain't no bloating. So what I've noticed is it's just the amount of quantity of food.
Yeah, the types of food as well, right?
Get a food sensitivity test.
I will.
No, to that to the question.
Oh, okay.
That would be an option too, for sure. Identify what to stay away from and what might be causing that.
This guy looks good.
What's the question?
He didn't have any questions. This is the guy who just asked the question.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, he's 6'2", 16, and he wants to compete in Classic.
So what does his physique look like?
You know who he reminds me of? His arm and chest reminds me of Shizzy, right? He has like that same build and the tattoos and shit. But I would honestly say like,
If you can,
I
you
think
just gotta
Classic
work
is-
on his shoulders.
yeah, definitely
his
shoulders
legs.
are a bit weaker compared to the chest.
Chest looks good.
Chest
Back looks
good.
pretty good.
Back looks good too. I would just say,
Might be the way he's posing in that side chest too, because his shoulders look decent from behind.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say for him his lower half, but his upper body
Yeah.
looks pretty good. Continuously getting wider, maybe an option.
I agree with you.
Not bad though. Pretty
Yeah, look
pretty
good.
good.
Clean, add fiber. Because when I hear the term like, oh, I'm eating clean, they usually lack fiber.
Fiber. Fiber's
Yeah,
important.
depending on what types of foods, you know.
Chicken and rice, that's clean stuff.
Yeah, but you can't eat chicken and rice every single meal, though, you know.
I think you can, Kyle.
Of course they do.
All right, so what was it that flipped the switch from my previous off season to my most recent? For me, I guess it was kind of like what's the right word I'm looking for? When I got that 3rd place, it was a very emotional and majestic time. I felt everything and I just absorbed it and I just stared at the wall with like kind of closing out all the other sounds besides me kind of just crying. And I just like kept repeating in my head what I was feeling and just saying like I'm not letting that happen again. So I found that within myself and then I just stuck to it. And then I'd remind myself on the days I didn't want to do it, don't fucking have that feeling again. And that was really it, man. I didn't force for it to happen. It happened. All right, so this guy's a competitor. Competes in men's physique. Just trying to get some more of his photos up. One sec. So what would you say, Kyle? I think he looks pretty good men's physique-wise. A little soft, would you say?
Yeah, conditioning needs to improve.
Yeah.
I think the structure's there. He just needs to, for his back, definitely get some more spine erector, his lower back work, and just get tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has about 4 to 6 more weeks of dieting for sure. Not bad, huh?
Yeah. Definitely with more time and experience, and definitely you'll nail a good look. Why can't I click? All right, hey, Ant, Grant, and Kyle. Before Ant went on his bulk, I was main gaining at around 170, 173. I followed your workouts this offseason. I also ate the same meals, just not as many calories. I got up to 198, and now I'm slowly cutting down my 190, but I'm constantly bloated. What can I do to fix that?
Well, how does he look?
What would you say, Kyle? You worked with a lot of teens before.
So I think he's too fixated on the scale. He's trying to speed up a process that is not meant to be sped up this quickly. So right now you need to have a quality diet. If you're constantly bloated, something you're eating is triggering that, whether that's an inflammatory response, could be something as simple as a protein powder you're using. I don't really know. There's not enough information here. But all I can say is look at your physique. You definitely put on entirely too much body fat if you've gained 28 pounds. So there's no reason, especially natural. I don't think there was any PED usage at all here. You cannot gain 28 pounds a year naturally. It's just not happening. So be patient. I can't stress that enough. People try to rush a process that takes years.
Yep.
All right, next one. Can you rate my physique? Let's see. Okay, so it looks like this guy here, we have a men's physique and classic physique competitor. I'll start with classic because I enjoy classic better. So what do you think from the top down? What's the first thing that stands out to you?
I would say he has pretty good genetics. He's a little softer. I think he has shape for classic. I just think he can be hitting his pose better. His legs are forward. His waist, his quads are dominant.
The answer for bodybuilding, he just doesn't have enough muscle to. He definitely has no muscle for open. So if he's going to do classic, which most people do, that's just not a classic pose. So it's like he's kind of doing himself a disservice. It's like me standing in it.
But
I'm not going to look very good, right?
That's his front relax. I just think he's not hitting it. He could be hitting it way better by pushing
it way better. And then what will make him better here, aside from obvious, addition of muscle like anyone, is simply conditioning, right? Yeah. I think condition-wise, if he pushed the diet another 6 to 8 weeks, he could definitely be in a really good spot. You can see he can put on muscle. He's bubbly.
Yeah, he is bubbly.
He has a good taper, too, in the men's physique.
Yeah, so posing and conditioning. If he can nail those two and continue to grow as anyone typically does year to year, I think he'll be in a really good spot. But I would say I'd like to see him in classic more so than men's physique.
I agree. I definitely think classic suits you way better. Your quads are very bubbly. But yeah, I think great physique. What was his question, if even a question? Could you guys rate my physique? Yeah, man. I give it like a great number. I don't have a number, but good number.
It was nice meeting you both at Young LA Block Party. I'm quite tall, 6'7". I heard Kyle say in the past pod that he recommends tall people stay away from certain exercises. What recommendations do you have for a taller person in the way that they train? It's quite discouraging that it takes so long to fill out while I see my buddies getting bigger much quicker. You have any tips for dealing with this? I attached my physique below at the peak of my last cuts. Nothing crazy, but I want to hear your thoughts. I also get pretty fat, easily pretty fat, like me. So while he's pulling up those photos, I think for anyone taller, you just have to realize, because of your limb length, squatting and benching is not going to be the easiest for you. So when you're doing something like an incline bench press, I don't recommend going all the way down and touching the bar to your chest. I would cut the range of motion a bit to where you really feel the stretch enough for you, and then not getting caught up with numbers, because someone 6'7" is never going to be benching. I don't want to say never. It's very unlikely that they're going to be benching what a 5'5" person can bench, because the range of motion is just entirely different in terms of the movement pattern. Can't think of the word I was looking for. But so this is him at peak cut, right?
I believe that's what you said, yeah.
No, he's just taller. So someone like this, it's going to take you years to put on. Someone 6'7's got to be 250 to be even.
Yeah, dude, you gotta be big. Fuck.
Catch my eye, because they're so tall. So the beauty of being taller, when you do put on the muscle, you're substantially bigger than anyone.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot longer. So you're doing yourself a disservice comparing yourself to your buddies that are a fraction of your height.
For sure.
And then again, exercise selection. Find machines that you enjoy. You don't necessarily have to do the free weight squats or something because it's just entirely too much. So I would stay away from those barbell exercises for sure.
Hi from Sweden. I just want some feedback. What you guys think I should focus on? 26, 168 centimeters tall, 82 kilograms. Just want to get on stage this year, but I think I'm too small. Every time I go on a deficit with calories. Oh, so he thinks he's small every time he goes on a cut. How do you work with the mental game from it? So to answer about I don't even know what you look like right now, but to go about the mental game is having confidence within yourself, right? If let's say you competed before, which I don't know if you said you have, you want to get on stage this year. So if you never competed before, you should go in it with the expectation of having fun and getting your feet wet, experiencing it and knowing what to expect at that first level show. And then from there, you kind of have an idea and you're like, all right, that was my first package I ever brought. You know, with my X amount of years of training, I was able to bring this to a stage, and I'm proud I was able to get bodybuilding lean, you know, stage ready conditioning. Now, what could I do better next time around in 2 years? So, I mean, overall, like, he has size. He definitely can be competitor, men's physique wise, right? Classic, whatever.
I think a big thing mentally is I don't know if this is like a starting point. If it is, that's a phenomenal starting point. But sometimes people start much too fat, so it almost becomes like a body.
His physique kind of reminds me of Vaughn's, does it not? Is it just the arm tattoo?
That's the first thing I thought of was a little bit, yeah.
Looks like Vaughn a little bit.
So again, I guess I don't know if this is current. If this is current, then you have such an ample amount of time as long as you give yourself the time you needed for prep, like a 12 to 16 weeks minimum. I wouldn't worry about getting small, but if you go from one extreme to the other, or people that are like peak bulk and 25% body fat, then yeah, you're going to feel that way because you are losing a substantial amount of weight. But I think to navigate that, not to have those mental battles, starting in a really good spot, such as this, is fantastic. Right.
185?
But if he's 185 like that, you know,
No.
it's not bad, but you're going to be at the end of the day high 160s on stage, you know? But no one cares what you look like on stage either, so sometimes that's like it's an illusion, bodybuilding, right?
No one cares what you look like on stage?
What you weigh.
A weigh, yeah.
Yeah, no one asks you when you win, oh, what did you weigh? Doesn't matter.
Hey guys, big fan here. Just a question. Been training for a year and a half. Want to compete in classic against Physique after 5 years or 6 maybe. What division do you think I'll do well in the future? Oh, all right. Got to break our necks. I mean, listen, it's hard to say with a year and a half of training. Now you're going to times that by like 3 until you want to compete. So, for example, maybe your legs just lack in the 5 years from now. Then we say men's physique. It's like hard to give an answer. Like I don't want to just be like, oh, classic. You know, you're hitting an ab and thigh. I have no clue. It's hard to say.
It's not enough muscle to really depict. Right now, I mean, his legs.
Yeah,
I would pick the division that you enjoy the most and go from there.
I agree.
But bodybuilding and men's physique are two entirely different things. One, you don't have to train legs rarely at all. So if you are someone that enjoys training legs, then I would say get away from men's physique.
Yep.
And take the extra year or two, whatever.
I never enjoyed
3 years it might take to get to that.
I never enjoyed training legs, but I forced myself to, and now I do. Is it beneficial to increase your carbs on the days that you are trying to bring up weak body parts? What would you say are my weak body parts in my physique? This person's worked with Phil Viz for about 9 months. 5'9", 180, 19. Natural in these photos. You poaching Phil Viz's clients?
Am I what?
Poaching Phil Viz's clients?
No.
He's not asking Phil Viz for tips. He's asking you.
For natural 19, that's awesome.
That is awesome. Great quads.
As far as do you need higher generally carbohydrates increase performance more so, but at the end of the day I would just do more, make sure there's more food on days you're trying to bring up a body part. And again, people get that confused to where, okay, I'll just bring up my food on all days. That's not the goal here. So structuring your training to, you know, you're at a point now where I wouldn't say, if anything, your legs are pretty good, but I would continue to make them phenomenal. And perhaps every, couple months, change the focus of what body part you're primarily trying to bring up. I guess it's posterior or Shane.
5'9". You look good, man. I'm Myron.
He looked taller in the pictures. Yeah. That's awesome, though, for his age. Yeah.
All right. Love the podcast. Been investing in bodybuilding something sort of 2 years now. As a newbie, I have a couple questions. How and when did you decide to start with PEDs? Did you gather information first and went right in? All right, so let's answer that question first. What did I do? Well, when I had interest in it, I did a lot of research online. I gathered my sources through... My shit back then was Reddit. I used Reddit sources of people sharing logs and different YouTube videos, understanding what the drugs did, what I could experiment with myself, and it was honestly through like seeing other people's stories of what they did. So that was how I started. When? I think I already touched on when. I was young. I was too young.
I think in our contemporary era, there's no reason that you shouldn't gather as much information as possible and realize that with PEDs, you don't just start and stop.
No.
So what is your purpose of taking them? And not just to look better. You have to have more of a purpose than that, right? This isn't college looking good for spring break. It's if you're going to use something, you're not harming your body. So there's safe ways to go about it, but it's not, at the end of the day, it's not right. You shouldn't use any PEDs. If you're going to for cosmetic reasons, for performance reasons, realize that you are harming yourself. And now, by taking these steps, you have to start to pay attention to the vital organs in your body, taking the right health supplementation. Are you just taking it for a shortcut and you're not going to figure out how you can be better with your nutrition or your training? If that's the case, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Mm-hmm. So as far as the when, I don't think anyone under 18 should ever consider it. I think you should get to at least 21 ideally and be training for a substantial amount of time, at least 3 or 4 years before you go into it. With that said, most people don't wait that long, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change my advice. What'd you say? Most people do, but I think most people, I think it starts from, probably insecurity, perhaps, why they want to take something in the beginning. They want to look a certain way, or they're jealous of someone.
Yeah.
That's generally why they start, but back in the day, you didn't have Reddit or these forums to where you can kind of seek information. So nowadays, you can it's easier to obtain, and doing it the right way, there's no reason not to. There's so much free information out there. It's not like you have to pay a coach or anything like that. So to be negligent now is kind of silly.
Too.
And you see a lot of the trends lately on TikTok and Instagram. So, yeah.
Your experience, if you'd like to share.
In what?
When did you decide to consider PEDs?
In college, and I think more so. No, I was just unhappy with how I looked, and I wanted to expedite the process. Again, at the time, I can't say I did as much research as I would advise someone to do, but I also didn't have people around me where I could do that. The fitness community isn't what it is now, so I think it's almost like a non-negotiable to where you're silly if you just get into it now and don't do some bit of research or follow someone's YouTube videos, something. So, yeah.
Do you want to read the second part?
I used to be a fat fuck, same. Trying to become fit and shredded. Is it true that your fat cells are empty when you lose weight?
I don't know if it's true. I'm sure it is. I saw it online. It has to be true. You don't lose fat cells; they just become empty and they shrink. But they're always a cell.
Sure, I don't know the exact science behind it. At the end of the day, I simply look at the fact everyone has different body types. Again, I use me and you for example because I see it through coaching you and I see it myself. We gain fat much easier. Now, does it mean that we can't do a great job at putting on muscle or bodybuilding? There's perks with gaining muscle a little bit easier when we're endomorphs. But I just simply think your definition of a surplus is what, again, is very alarming because you don't have to be in a surplus. Perhaps your maintenance isn't typically what someone else's maintenance is. So it's all subjective to the individual and how you're responding. Just because on paper you type in the calculator your male or female, your height, your weight, your age, your activity levels, doesn't mean that's not going to make you gain weight. So if you're gaining weight consistently week to week, your food is obviously high enough. So. Oh.
First one is him in his prime at 140 kilos, and then the rest are at 90 kilos.
He said prime?
As in like prime weight.
Oh, I like the beer. Okay.
Party animal.
Hold on.
Dude, this Anders.
He's lost a good amount of weight, which is cool.
Oh damn.
He's made a ton of progress.
What'd you say? Yeah.
That's how they say it there.
I would say, man, you look awesome. I mean, the transformation, as I said, I love fat to fit transformations. I mean, I'm sure your old self will be really happy with where you're at now. It's always good to continue to be, aggressive and want to be competitive with yourself to better yourself. I would just say you're at a point where you could be at maintenance / slight surplus and just slowly put on a little bit of weight where you're adding tissue and not too much fat.
I don't know how long he's been
Doing
in a
this.
deficit for and how significant the deficit is. Like, I hope he's not starving himself doing a ton of cardio. If he is, you want to give yourself a little bit of a break. That way your body thanks you later.
Yeah. Want to do a couple more? Hi, Elijah. You've watched us for a while. Do you think it's a need or at least a supplement to take something above natural level? Or do you have to if you're going to the next step for bodybuilding? My name is Elijah. I've watched this for...
Oh, what are you trying to do?
Understand the question. I'm trying to understand the question.
He's asking you need to take supplements to get to the next level in bodybuilding.
Oh. I
What do
mean,
you
they
think?
help, for sure. Like supplements or like supplements?
Yeah, do you need to take something above natural level? So I imagine he means performance
For
enhancing.
sure.
Yeah.
If you want to step on stage in a bodybuilding organization like the NPC, which is like the most popular one, I mean, yeah.
If you're not committed to taking a substantial amount of chunk of your time to bodybuilding, and at the end of the day, even being on a level playing field, you're going to have to take something at some point. I'm not saying everyone has to. Obviously, there's a couple guys that I coach that are natural and they look phenomenal, but they will never compare cosmetically. They will never look the same. They won't have that level of hardness to do very well. But again, that's why there's also a federation for natural people. So
Yep.
yeah.
All right, last question.
I'm 19 and 6'2", getting ready to enter my first prep ever. What are a few tips, Anthony, to stay mentally prepared? Pretty good muscle for 19.
Yeah, pretty good muscle for sure. Yep. All right, man. What I would say is a few tips would be have trust and faith in your coach. Don't try to make changes yourself. You can ask questions, but don't try to deter your coach's path they have going for you. Have fun with it. Take a lot of photos. Enjoy the first process of, getting lean and getting to that level. It's definitely going to be a struggle. Something you're not used to because you've never done it before. So it's definitely going to hit you with some curveballs of random days being more tired, no energy, and you got to find that somehow within you, whether you put on a song that lights your ass, you find that motivation somehow, and just make sure you get it done, and you have fun with it, man, because, why would you do something that's not fun? So that's what I would say. Do you agree with everything?
Yeah, I think everything you said has a valid point. I would ask the same question I would ask you is why? Why do you want to do a show? And that based on that answer, remember that.
Yeah.
Take your time. It's not going to be easy. Is this going to be the best you ever look? No, not if you continue. You'll be better next time around. But again, it's an experience, and your why is what's going to drive how far you go and how long you can achieve this for.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Did you like gathering together again for that?
Say that again, bro?
Did you enjoy gathering together?
Yes,
for that?
yes. No, it was good. I think hopefully it's helpful for people. And it gives them, I don't know, I enjoy interacting and trying to.
Yeah, I enjoy
help
doing the
people.
interaction parts with people too, because it's like, when I was younger, it'd be cool to like witness someone I watch react to a question I had.
Yeah.
I still have a screenshot when David Lade answered a question of mine on the gym show.
I think it's like
Snapchat.
really, a lot of people's physiques are pretty impressive, and it's cool to see people, I think Netherlands.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
cool to see people around the world
Yeah.
tune in and care what we say or don't say, I suppose.
No, I agree. I think it's really cool. But I got to go home and get a fucking meal in me.
So that'll be the end of this one.
It's going to be the end of this one.
Well, as always, I appreciate you joining me, Anthony, and Grants.
It's awesome being a co-host of this.
You want to close it out, buddy?
Sure. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for the IRONBROS podcast. My name's Anthony. That's Kyle across from me, and Grant is right there in screen. You can use code SIR, code ANT, or code GRANT on Young LA, and peace out.